Hello everybody, I'm back. I'm going to show you how to make a basic boffer build for a long sword. Here's the stuff you're going to need. I'm going to try to do it quick because it's cold and this camera and this phone aren't very good. Basic things you're going to need. Here's an example of the long sword we're going to be building right here. Alright, so basically what you're going to need is good duct tape. Purchase good duct tape. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Cheap stuff doesn't hold up. Max strength's the way to go. Yellow duct tape, that's what you're going to be using to cap the ends of your PVC. I'll explain that later. You're going to need some discs. These are cut out from 3/8 inch anti-fatigue foam you can buy from Harbor Freight. Looks like puzzle foam. It's about that thick. You're going to need that. And then make yourself a little smear. Okay, looks like I'm back. Alright, cool. Make yourself a little feed stick. You're going to need DAP. Weldwood contact cement. Looks like that. Do this outside, otherwise you'll get really, really high. Some of you might like that. I wouldn't recommend it. It kills your brain cells. That being said, here we go. And yes, here's the little pouches we just made. So, other things you're going to need is 3/4. Oh, by the way, this PVC is 3/4 inch, schedule 40. Then you're going to need to go to Menards and pick up some of this here insulation. It's the tan stuff. It is Tundra pipe insulation. Buy that, works better. Or pool noodles are great as well. Therefore, here we go. Alright, I'm going to put you over here. Hopefully the feed doesn't cut out while I'm in the middle of this. Because I moved a little bit further away from my original location. There we go. And yes, that's duct tape holding up this thing. First thing you're going to do, tape your ends yellow. Why yellow? Why is that significant? Well, the reason it's significant is because if for some reason your weapon fails, meaning the foam is no longer covering the pipe, you will end up not punching through it and stabbing someone. But if it does punch through, then you'll see the yellow before it happens. Pinch, roll, 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 roll. Here we go. Like I said, I'm going to do this quickly because I hate wasting time. We all got stuff to do. Because baby, it's cold outside. Cap your end again. My hands are numb already. Pinch, pinch. Just look like that. Fold, 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 fold. There, that's done. No really need to continue talking about it. Grab your yellow foam, your tan foam. Size up how long you want your blade. If you want it to mimic this sword over here, you want it to look something like that, great. So we're just going to mimic this one the best we can. So I'm going to stop it at about here. This is going to be a two-handed longsword. Consult your LARP for information on what the size requirements are. They should have a book out to let you know that. Grab your knife, cut your piece. There's your blade. Now you're going to want to dap. Put this out of the way so you can see. You're going to want to dap your blade. Meaning you're going to dap this. Take a little bit, smear it on. You don't need a whole lot. Now, this entire weapon will cost you about $5 to build. Now, that being said, the initial investment for all of the tools and everything needed to build it is looking at about, with the knife, I'd say with the knife, $1 from Harbor Freight. This here was like a $6, $7 can from Lowe's. Your duct tape could cost you anywhere between, for a good roll. You want to get the good stuff, otherwise it'll just flake off. I used some moderate stuff on this. It didn't hold up very well, but this is an NPC weapon. This wouldn't be something I'd be using privately. You're looking at about, for the duct tape, anywhere between $5 to $10 for a good max strength roll. But if you're making basic boffers, get a medium, decent duct tape to go with. you'll know the differences quickly. That being said, here you go. Alright, so I've shoved my PVC into the foam. Give it about an inch and a half up here so you can stab people. Because that's what we do. We stab monsters. Pull your yellow stripping out, but hang on to it. There's a reason for it, so just hang tight. Now, it's cold outside. So when it's cold outside, this stuff isn't going to stick together. See? It doesn't like each other. So that'll help it stick together, at least so I can get it in the house and duct tape it. So just wait till it gets up to temp. You're going to heat this seam and it'll close right up. You'll see. Just a little bit at a time. And now it's sticking. And we'll continue the rest of the way. Yes, these are the secrets. And there, boom, your seams. Alright. That just opened up. You didn't see it, but it opened up for a hot second. It's because it's cold and there's no tape securing the seam. That's fine. The objective is you're just trying to get the basic blade built so you can take it inside where it's warm and tape it up. Because, yeah. So some people are like, well, Bill, the DAP takes forever to dry. What are you doing? Why are you thinking this? Well, I've found another trick to utilize in which to help the process along. So instead of waiting 20 minutes for the DAP to set up, you can get it done in like a minute. Literally a minute. So you're about to see what happens. Also, that little piece of foam that I saved it. This will be my pommel end. But I'll need another piece of foam for the cross guard. Let me go grab that. Let's see how we're doing over here, though. Cool. And if anybody ever wonders how I make my stuff, this is how it's made. There's no secrets really about it. It's just, if the foam falls down, I am sorry. So I'm just going to copy this boffer over here by using it as a somewhat template. And again, this is an NPC weapon. I'm not going to do a whole lot of love and care and kindness to it. So if you wanted to get crazy with your crossguard, go for it. So when using and making a crossguard for this weapon, round tube, right? It's going to be this long. It's going to sit on there like that. But how do you get it through here without making a great big mess? Well, you find your center. I eyeball it. Make sure that your yellow stripe is down. Find your center. Make a crisscross. Crisscross. So now you've made a little X here. Then you chop out the X. There's no real magic about it. You can do this. This is the same thing with regards to pool noodle. It's no different. So then we've made our little X, and you push out your little pieces. But hang on to them because they're great stuffing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your little box end here, feed it through, shove it up. Now, crossguard placement's important. I'll tell you why. As you can see, this seam is its only weakness thus far. So you do not want your seam to be on the striking side or blade up or down. You want it to be on the sides of the weapon that will not be utilized very much. So you're going to want it to go like that. Because you're going to be striking with this end and this end. You're not going to be striking with this or the back. Because if you start using this to swing with, you're going to collapse this seam and then the weapon's rendered worthless and you have to redo it. So then what you can do is once this stuff's utilized and put away, pull this yellow off and save it again. And I'll tell you why here in just a moment. And then again, I'm going to need to heat this because it's cold out. And glue and cold hate each other, so it's kind of a thing. Molecules and all that expanding and contracting or shrinking. and not wanting to secure very well, and there you go. Now you can leave it like this, or you could try to shore it up more. Honestly, duct tape fills the gap quite nicely. Now that being said, we're going to move into stuffing this to actually make it be able to block stuff. Foam. Stuff foam in the hole. Also, I use one of these pieces of ribbon, and I'll tell you why. Now, Bill, you're just using trash to fill up these holes. No, I'm not. What this is a safety precaution if you think about it. You're in the middle of a fight, and all of a sudden your weapon flies apart. You'll know, because in the heat of the fight, sometimes you don't recognize your situation in your hands because you're using it to defend yourself. So when these little yellow ribbons shoot out of the weapon, oh, my weapon's failed. Now you know. Oh, why are my building materials flying out? Oh my goodness. And there it is. Now with puzzle foam, these little side pieces that I get from Harbor Freight, yeah, I can't preach them enough. They actually got great stuff to build. I use these little caps here. It's a nice hard foam, but if somebody falls on this, the cross guard won't hurt them. Stuff this stuff up in your corners. Kind of like loading a musket. Stuff, 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 more stuff in the holes. And there you go. And now your cross guard's firm, but not solid, to where it'll damage somebody. That being said, that part's done. Now what we do is we're going to adapt the bottom half of the blade, and we're going to put this pommel on real quickly. It doesn't take a lot, just a little. Just a little bit. Bam. There. That's all you need. Take this, slide this on. Again, 1 inch at the bottom. Pull your tabs. Keep them because you're going to use them here in a minute. Heat it up. Shut it off. Close your seam. Bam. Pommel's on. Alright, now we're going to move on to the discs. Here's the discs you're going to be using. Some people like to use the blue camp foam. I really don't, only because the blue camp foam's too soft. Although I'll cover that with a later build at a later date, utilizing the blue foam for an actual better looking weapon than one of these. So what you're going to do again is you're going to grab your DAP, grab your stick, and smear it on. I have a little bit left over. Again, you just smear it in. Doesn't need a lot. You're just trying to give it a base coat. Now, again, if this was like a normal sunny 70 day, I would let this stuff set up proper, but it isn't. It's like 42 or below right now. I don't even know what temperature it is, but it's cold enough where my hands hurt. So here we go. You're going to glue up your end caps. That's probably a little too much, but we're going to be okay. Again, see, the cold hates it, so it's opening that seam up. So we're just going to reclose it for the moment. So, yep, that's my phone's dying. You're going to stuff some foam up into this bottom here. Alright, and I can just make some more pieces real quick. Boom, boom. Stuff them in there because you don't want to get stabbed by a core if you somehow happen to fall on this weapon because you're clumsy or you accidentally got pushed or something of that nature. So those are for later. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to take your stir stick. Again, you're going to stuff one of these ribbons in here. That way you'll know when your weapon fails. There's no question about it. Even at night, I've seen these things fly apart in a huge fight at another LARP that I was a part of once long ago. And yeah, I knew it failed. That's why everybody yelled hold on the field. And bam, got that weapon off the field, got him a loner. We were ready to rock and roll. Alright. Keep going, keep going, keep going. How's our video? We're still live. Awesome. Now I'm going to take one of these discs. I'm going to take this one, put it over here because stuff blows around with this heat gun. I'm going to heat this disc. It'll make this glue dry instantly. Well, almost instantly. It'll make it to where it's functioning. Lay it down. It'll start to bubble. Typically, you'd wait for this to turn like clear, but we don't have that time. And then I heat this, but not too much because you'll start to melt it. Put it again, back away, put it again, and we're set. We're set to cap this end now. Watch. Boom, that's all it took. And it's on there. It's not coming off. Now we do the front. You're probably thinking to yourself, Bill, well, that capped end looks kind of wonky down there. Are you going to trim it up? Yes, I will. And yes, my name is Bill. People call me Monroe. I answer to both. It's fine. All right, again, we just stuffed our end cap here. There's the one that we already, or here's the cap. I stuffed the sword. Here's the cap. More glue to the head of the sword. Paint, paint, paint. Doesn't take a lot. Here we go. All right. And here we go. Now I've made enough of these to where I can make a bundle of them, 12, 13 at a time, but I've been doing it long enough to where I know what I'm doing and I'm pretty proficient with what I do. So, not blowing my own horn, but woo woo. Here we go. Boom. It's on there. And there it is. Now if it falls off later, hit it with a little bit more heat, reapply it, it'll work. So, that being said, God, it's so cold I can't even snap. Here's your basic weapon build then. There it is. So yeah, this lip overextends, then chop it off. Use your knife. That's what we do. Adapt and overcome here, right? Boom. And save your little shreddings because they fill in stuff very nicely when it comes to like filling the caps or the bottoms. But now we have a very safe weapon to utilize on the field. Again, this is an NPC weapon, so I tape these up now. If you're a LARP creationist or if you're a prop builder or the weapons person, I encourage only 2 layers of tape. Don't wrap it this way when you tape it. Wrap it long ways. And the reason for that is if you compress the foam, it pulls it tighter to the pipe, so realistically you're not hitting them with foam, you're hitting them with a piece of pipe. And you're going to get called all sorts of colorful names. So therefore, use your brain. Don't use yoga mat. Don't use the yoga mats. Don't use carpet padding for this stuff. It's got to be foam, okay? That's your situation. And there it is. I could probably trim this up a little better down here because that looks like hamburger. So, yeah. So this is a LARP weapon that will pass inspection every time. Some LARPs are ridiculous with their safety protocols. Some LARPs want you to have a fuzzy end on the tip of it too for stabbing. This is good enough for most LARPs. I'm going to say 70% of the LARPs. I know AmpGuard's got some crazy rules. I know some of the other LARPs have some crazy rules, which that's fine. That's their safety protocols. Nothing against it. Safety, safety. But our LARP here at Wildlands is a little bit more hardcore. We are a medium contact LARP where we can bash you with a shield. Therefore, that's your basic LARP, your shield build. Now, again, you're going to take your tape. I'd start down here and tape it up over. Bring it all the way across as I got hair in my eye. Thank you. You're going to want to tape it over this. Then you're going to layer your tape up and around your crossguard here. Back and around. And back over. But you want all your pieces of tape to connect down here. Why? I'll tell you why. Because your hockey tape or your grip tape, or if you just want to use duct tape because you can't afford grip tape or whatever, tapes it all down here, pulls all the tape nice and tight and together like that. It'll pull all the tape together, keeping it secure to the foam. Same thing down here. Pommels are easy. Grip tape all the way down the handle here, and we're all set. And then you got one of these. That's essentially what it is. Again, do not oh yes. Now you're going to see on this, I wrapped the very tip of this together once. And right here once. It secures this tape to the blade itself. Because even in the middle of some of the best built blades do fly apart. It's duct tape and foam after all. Now do not get attached to your weapon. These weapons don't last very long. Kalamazoo, Epic Armory, all those companies make really neat looking Boffers. Very expensive, but they last years, so it's an investment. But I rock these only because I know I can do good with these. And if you wanted to get fancy and put a weighted bottom in it, you can do that, Make sure it's secure down here because it will be safety checked. And if your weights fly out at the bottom, whether it's a stack of nickels, quarters, or dimes, or like I made one, I slammed some threaded pipe up into the bottom of it because the guy wanted to be able to wield a two-handed greatsword longer than this, and he was able to. That was an expensive build, but I actually absolutely enjoyed it. The cross guard for it was insane. Now, I'm going to preach to you, if you want to make your own stuff, some safety tips and tricks. The idea is you're not actually trying to hurt somebody. So, when you pick your foam out to use to make your boffer, I'm going to encourage softness over impact. Now, that being said, well, you know, aren't we in a game where that's the idea? Yes, but you're not actually trying to break your friend's legs and pull their head off. I mean, maybe you are. You shouldn't be LARPing. You should go to prison. I'm just saying. But anyway, this was a mistake I made. I'm going to show it and air it because I'm experimenting with stuff because I want to be better at what I do. This is all gray foam. That is silly. And I was like, well, maybe if I shave the edges down enough, this gray foam will be soft enough on impact. No, that wasn't the case because when it's cold out, it hits harder. So the next time I'm going to use all blue foam, and it should work out because I was experimenting by heating and melting the PVC. I shouldn't say melting. I was shrinking the PVC down by squishing the circular pipe into an oval. Some people were like, Bill, that's not going to work. It works. They're wrong. They're very wrong, and this looks better than that. Hands down. But yeah, that's another future build I'm going to work on. I don't know if I'll air it, but I may or I may not. But while I'm out here, I wanted to show you some creativeness before I let everybody go. Now, what do you see here? Well, Bill, that looks like I don't know, an emerald of some kind. Sort of. What I've done is I am working on LARP staffs to sell at our feast. That being said, what is the main focal point of the staff? It's the head, right? So I made one head. My wife laughed at me and said, nobody's going to buy that. And I said, okay, I'll do better. Which, she was right. It was pretty hideous. So what I'm going to do is I made a huge diamond head, and I'm going to show you how I dap my foam together very quickly in the cold environment. So again, you grab your little stick, grab your dap. I'm going to show you how I make this. Let me get this stuff out the way as everything goes flying across the ground. I don't care. I do not care. Again, if you got comments, questions, or suggestions, please post them in the links below. This video will be shared across the interwebs for everybody to use, and I'm happy to help because this shouldn't be a money-making game. Unfortunately, some of the situations, some people try to capitalize on it. If you think you're going to make a lot of money trying to sell to people who LARP, you're wrong on a lot of levels. Not just morally, but there's just not a lot of money to be had because this is supposed to be a fun game. Most people make their own stuff. Remember that. Alright, so what I've done is I've laid a strip of dap down here and on this little edge here. I'm going to make myself a gem. As I warm my hand up because I can't feel it. It's kind of funny. Again, I'm just heating it up till it turns a neat color. It's kind of like, it turns yellow, almost clearish yellow. And here we go again. I'm going to heat this. Look at it, you can see it change. You're not trying to melt the foam, you're just trying to get the dap to yellow up, be able to be attached. And now here's where you make or break your project. Find your center and run it down. And there it is. And then you're thinking, wow, how secure is it? Well, it's that secure so far. So obviously it hasn't set up all the way, but it gets me to where I can work with it, and then it'll dry up and harden itself. Okay, other side. Because I was inspired actually by I think his name's Mark. Yeah, his name's Mark. I'm terrible with names. I know who the guy is. He's a fantastic. Mark Shelley is his name. And I saw his friend's staff, and she had a really cool design. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna make some staffs. That'd be cool. That'd be fun. Sell those at Feast, and everything that I'm making and selling at Feast goes towards our LARP. So, boom. You can You see it changing colors. See it's bubbling and changing. There we are. Now I'm going to get this side here. Yeah, that staff was really cool. She had like a piece of plastic on the inside. It looked like a bouillon cube holder. And she had it in the head of the staff and it had a flower in it. And I was a doofus and crinkled it all up. She might kill me later for it. Unless she fixed it. Which I think they fixed it. I'm not sure. I have to find out. But again, here we go. Alright, and then again, we're going to find our center here, make our little diamond, and there's no books on how to do this, so please don't look, there aren't any. I wish there were. So I should make one. I could make a lot of money. How to be a nerd. So here we are. Now there we are. Now as you can see, this side's set up, it's twistable. Once it sets up fully and hardens, it'll be fine. We'll hit a little bit more to get it to secure a little bit better. And there it is. That's what we got. Now, that's my trick with DAP. It's not much of a trick. See, it's pulling away. Boom. That's my phone dying again. Boom. There it is. Squeeze it back in there. And if I have to make another one, it's not a big deal. It's just foam and DAP. It's not a failure. It's just a trial and error. So that's that, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the simplest build ever. So, again, better duct tape. Make sure you got safety protocols in mind when you're making this. You're not trying to hurt anybody. Check your LARP's rules regarding the weapons and the safety builds. They should have something like 1 inch of foam at the tips, like or 2 inches. Some people are insane with it. That's fine. The safer the better.